Toronto Wolfpack introduced Sonny Bill Williams at a press conference next Thursday at Arsenal's Emirates Stadium in London. SVW signing a 2-year deal with the Wolfpack totaling $9 million. Raiders and the Chargers tonight in the Week 10 opener. Both teams sitting on 4 wins. That's at 8:20. And the Canada Russia series heading to Kitchener tonight. Sportsnet 1 has that at 7. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590, The Fan. 6 News Time, 4:17.
You text it, DM it, say it 5 times a week. Let's grab a drink soon, ? You should like, let's grab a drink soon, ! Because not everyone who says it, does it. If you miss your crew, why wait for them to make plans? Hit someone up you said it to 3 weeks ago. You'll laugh, catch up, remember the good times. So will they. When's the last time you made a drink soon happen? JP Weisers. Hold it high. Please enjoy responsibly.
Dream big, bright. The Concord Diamond Collection, a symbol of wealth, a sign of brilliance. A collection of spacious 3-bedroom suites at prestigious locations in downtown Toronto and North York. For a limited time, purchase a suite from the Concord Diamond Collection and receive a Debuse diamond jewelry piece valued at $30,000. Terms and conditions apply. Visit CordDiamondCollection.ca for details.
6 News Time, 4:18. A massive wildfire in Northern California that forced the evacuation of thousands has been fully contained. After many days of intense firefighting,
we really need the winds to cooperate.
Fire commanders in Sonoma County say they now have 100% containment around the Kincaid fire. Still, there's work to be done to make sure everything inside that containment line is out. Thousands of firefighters from all over the country help fight the flames. Many are now being allowed to go home. 374 buildings were destroyed. Wow. Alex Stone, EBC News. An Italian politician has been put under police protection after receiving hundreds of anti-Semitic threats on social media.
Senator and Holocaust survivor Liliana Segre made it her mission to speak out against racial hatred. Now she's once again being targeted after she asked Italian Parliament to set up a commission to combat incitement to hatred and violence on ethnic and religious grounds. Members of far-right parties abstained from the vote, but it passed anyway. That's when the deluge of online hate followed. Police have provided the 89-year-old with 2 paramilitary officers and are investigating the hate messages. Megan Williams, ABC News.
That'll take care of all the problems.
An Irishman has been arrested after more than a dozen people were found alive in the back of a semi-truck in the UK. 15 people discovered in the trailer when the truck was stopped about 145 kilometers outside of London. The incident closely follows the tragic discovery of 39 Vietnamese migrants found dead in a container truck in southeastern England on October 23rd. Police say they've formally identified the bodies and have notified next of kin. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together. 6 News Time, 4:20.
The Royal Agricultural Winter Fair is back from November 1st to 10th at Toronto's Intercare Centre. Catch the country's best horse show, including the majestic RCMP musical ride and the Ontario Toyota Dealers Rodeo. Your kids will love the President's Choice Super
I need to roll some up before I try reading this shit.
Taking a cooking class at the Burnbrae Farms Culinary Academy or sample goods in our Spotlight on Local, presented by Metro. It's time to get agriculture at the Royal. Tickets at royalfair.org.
Dad, customers are asking about Black Friday. They want turntables and TVs and speakers and headphones, but they want the deals right now. Right now works for me. Come to Bay Bloor Radio, where we're offering Black Friday pricing right now. Buy with confidence from a store you can trust. And if our pricing does go lower for Black Friday, we'll absolutely refund you the difference.
There's only one Bay Bloor Radio. The right sound for the right price.
6 News Time, 4:21. Traffic and weather together on the one. Scott Hawkins.
This report brought to you by your Toronto area Ford dealers. So we have a couple of changes to the problems on the major routes. First of all, the one that's still there, westbound Gardner, west of Kipling. The left lane still blocked by Toronto Transportation. Collision mostly on the shoulder. Vehicle sideways into the center median. So we have a tow truck on scene as well. Slow on the westbound Gardner, DVP to west of Kipling, where the collision is. Combination of the problem and typical volume, of course. And then it's busy west of there on the West QEW, west of the 427 to about Mississauga Road, Ford Plant to Trafalgar, and Bronte to the 403 ramp. While we're in Burlington, Toronto-bound QEW on the upside of the Burlington Skyway. The right lane is now blocked by MTO crews with a stalled transport on the shoulder. Not much of a delay through this area. Did have problems on the 410 northbound, north of Steeles. They've now cleared. It's still busy with volume as you travel into Brampton, approaching Steeles up towards Beauvert. A volume on the North Don Valley Parkway, just volume. It's busy north of Bloor to north of Lawrence. And on the 404 northbound, delays approaching the 407 to north of 16th Avenue. On the eastbound 401, the busy spot across Toronto is from the 427 alternately express and collectors to Leslie, and then approaching Warden to Kennedy in the collectors. Westbound 401 is slow from Warden Express, 404 collectors to Dixon, and then you'll find typical volume into Mississauga and into Milton. We have delays if you're traveling into downtown on the eastbound Gardner, Jarvis to Cherry, just through the long-term construction zone. It's building through there. And on the south 404 Don Valley, delays Finch to south of Lawrence. Get 0% purchase financing for up to 60 months, plus over $8,200 in total value on select new F-150 models. Visit findyourford.ca. Your next report at 4:31, and with the extended forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, we are seeing these lake effect flurries starting to pick up in intensity right now, especially between Richmond Hill and Markham up through King City. So watch for these sort of pockets of heavier snow here over the next few hours. Trace to 2 centimeters possible here, especially across the north and eastern sections of the GTA. And then overnight tonight, we clear out. Dress for -4, wind chill -9 in the morning. Pack the shades for some sunshine to start, and then watch the afternoon between 1 and 5 tomorrow p.m. for more lake effect flurries returning, this time targeting the west end with a high of 1 degree. Saturday morning, in fact, right throughout the day now, looks like periods of on and off wet snow, gusty southwest winds and a high of 4 degrees. Travel could be tricky on Saturday. And then Sunday morning, some more wet snow. That'll switch over to some rain late in the day with a high of 6. Tonight, we're down to a low of -4 degrees. It is currently 1 degree at Pearson.
Coming up the bottom of the hour, breaking news from Brampton. The father of 2 young boys found dead in their home last night now stands charged in their deaths. And the potential exists for pop-up lake effect snow bans on the way home. All that straight ahead.
680 News Time at 4:24.
How is that?
The following is a message from SEIU Healthcare.
My friends, let me tell you what I am doing for the people in healthcare. I've cut taxes for the corporations that profit from our healthcare system. I've also cut funding for the people like personal support workers, so seniors will be left alone longer. My friends, I'm putting rich corporations first and people last.
He might not have said it, but he's doing it. A message from SEIU Healthcare, the people on the front line of care. Know the moment it happens.
Subscribe to 680 News breaking news alerts on your mobile.
Powered by the Monitoring Center Home Security.
Visit 680news.com. This portion of the news brought to you by RecycleMyElectronics.ca. So close to Friday, it can taste it. Colin Robertson taking a look at what's happening in the GTA.
That suit's a little revealing, isn't it?
Well, it allows for maximum mobility. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
The ski and snowboard show is happening at the International Center.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
It runs today until 10.
This is my wine journal from my last tour. I got you one. We can rate the wines we taste.
The ROM is hosting Napa Valley, yours for the tasting. It starts at 6:30. And it's Drunken TV saved by the bell at the Glasgow Melody Bar. Doors open at 7. Colin Robertson, 680 News. Coming up in 60 seconds, all the market action you can handle.
680 News Time, 4:25.
What's taking up space in your office? Printers, servers, old monitors, and desktops? Recycle My Electronics has a dedicated and free pickup service for e-waste, just for businesses. We certify destruction and provide a comprehensive tracking process, so you can feel confident and secure while keeping sustainability front and center. Schedule a pickup today by calling 1-833-NO-E-WASTE. That's 1-833-NO-E-WASTE. Or visit recyclemyelectronics.ca.
Trip over a female.
The future is in your
Trust
hands.
me on that.
Don't let it go to waste.
I'll get to that in a
At St. Andrews
minute.
College in Aurora, I'm often asked by parents why our school is right for their son.
The second you enter, you know you're a part of something truly amazing. There are tons of arts and extracurricular activities.
71 teams, 21 sports. There are so many opportunities to become a leader. 100% of our students are accepted to university.
The teachers sincerely care. They push you to do your best.
And Brothers for Life.
Experience for yourself what a St. Andrews College Day or boarding program can offer your son. Join us for our open house on November 19th.
Details at sac.on.ca.
See that shit?
426.
How'd I do that?
Cal 6 City Business Report, Richard Southern.
How nice, James, would it be to be a celebrity influencer? Making money
that's
with just
what I am.
an Insta tweet.
Well, you have an idea of what it's like.
What me and my 500 followers, not quite. I'm no Justin Bieber, James. He today announced a new deodorant. The Biebs hoping to smell more success with his deodorant called Here and Now. It's gender neutral. The packaging has all the buzzwords you might imagine. Be kind, stress-free, hug more. Yes, he does the commercial.
Self-care can be simple. It's being kind, starting with yourself.
Meantime, Drake, another Canadian celebrity, is getting his own line of cannabis. He's teaming up with Canopy Growth. And you know, Greg Taylor with Purpose Investments says this is actually a must-do for the cannabis companies. You gotta find a celebrity pitch person.
You have to almost, by definition, have celebrity spokespeople for this area. And it's really going around the marketing laws that the government's put in place that you can't directly advertise your product and you can't put it on TV and radio. So it's really using the internet and word of mouth, and spokespeople have been a great way to get brands, and that's what people want in this country. You need to create brands, and it's been a big challenge given some of the rules in Canada to create this.
Right, so if I'm a Canopy Growth, I can't go and buy a TV commercial, but I can sign Drake and he can put it on Instagram and he can talk about it, right?
Absolutely. It goes back to the celebrity influencers are a new way of marketing.
That is not what the law says.
Products, and it's a new world, and media is changing.
Didn't help Canopy stock today. It hit a 52-week low, down almost 2%, $25.13. Broader markets, though, they caught a buzz on news that China and the U.S. are looking to drop tariffs as they get set to sign a trade pact. The TSX up 60 points. That's another 1/3% higher today. TELUS was a big gainer. TELUS stock up 4.1%, $49.25 on a dividend increase. We had Sun Life adding 32 cents.
Dividends. Hear that? Dividends. That's what these cannabis companies don't have.
Sliding down more than $20 to $1,469. The Dow up 182 points. That's a record close. S&P up 8, NASDAQ up 23. And the Canadian dollar at 75.89 cents US. Top stories are next on 680 News.
It only takes one person to change the world. The Maclean's Power of One podcast brings you the gripping stories of 6 unsung heroes who made history, from the World War II double agent who saved D-Day to the greatest financial.
They're not going to tell us no top stories for another 2 minutes, but they won't get to them for 5. Indigenous-led housing project in Vancouver doubles in scope. So if you didn't know, downtown Vancouver is built on unceded land. There's supposed to be a reserve right there. Squamish Nation plans to build 11 towers with a total 6,000 units, mostly rental. Original landlords. Vancouver, one of the largest Indigenous-led urban development projects in Canada that proponents hope will rise in the heart of Vancouver, is set to double in size with 6,000 units planned. That's an awkward sentence, bro. Kel Salem, a Squamish Nation councillor, said the proximity of the project to downtown Vancouver is among the reasons for the larger scale development. We have a fiduciary responsibility to achieve the highest and best use when we do projects, said Kel Salem, who goes by a single name. We figured that out because you only put one name. Quote, we have to bring back the best value for our members because otherwise they're being robbed from the potential value that can be created on the land. So we push the density to what we think makes sense, both from a land use perspective, and we also think that providing a significant amount of rental space will be a positive opportunity. The Squamish Nation is planning to build 11 towers at the south end of the Burrard's Bridge near Vancouver's Falls Creek, with the tallest being 56 stories. 56, damn. The building one here is 88 stories. Kel Salem said the units will be mostly rental with a preference for Squamish Nation members and will include subsidized and affordable housing units. Quote, because we are proposing mostly rental, we see opportunities to do some really interesting stuff around amenity spaces for tenants within the building on those really beautiful vistas that might be on the roof or the really top part of the buildings, he said. We want to create a strong sense of community in these buildings. But you're still taking your marketing lessons from white people, I can tell. The team is planning the quote, highest level of energy efficiency, end quote, and aims to limit the amount of parking so people use public transit and reduce emissions, he added. Well, that's not how that works. Well, the project known as the Senac development does not need the city's approval to go ahead. Kel Salem said the team has been having conversations with the city and are, quote, excited to work with it. We quote, "We find the city to be very helpful and supportive," he said. What exactly we might share decision-making on or how they might be involved is to be determined, but we are open to a lot and to working with the city because they are experts in a lot of ways. Really? Really? That's what you're saying about the Vancouver City Council? You're out of your fucking mind, bro. Now, who cares? You're making the money, right? He said the team will work toward a service agreement with the city to provide municipal services such as water, sewers, and waste removal. The city has maintained that the Squamish Nation would not be required to apply to redevelop the area. No, it's their land. Quote, "If they do proceed with the project on these lands, we would look forward to continuing our long-standing relationship and work with them to support their integration with the existing community and city service connections," it said in a statement. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation said in a statement there are funding programs that could be explored under the National Housing Strategy for developments such as Senakwa. I don't know how you say that, bro. Senakw. Is that like Senakwa? There's no A after it, so I don't. Senak. Such as Senak, and the corporation would be interested in exploring them. Quote, "CMHC also always welcomes the opportunity to discuss funding and financing options with stakeholders interested in creating affordable housing solutions," it said. The 4.7 hectare area of the now proposed project was originally home to members of the Squamish Nation for thousands of years before they were illegally forced to accept a settlement and move to less desirable land along Howe Sound in 1913. Yeah, that's not that long ago. Although it was declared a reserve in the late 1800s, it had been sold off by 1965. After lengthy legal battles, in 2002, the Squamish Nation regained a small section of the earlier reserve, which is today Kitsilano Indian Reserve Number 6. The Squamish Nation had planned on developing the land about 10 years ago, but halted the process because of the economic downturn. Wise move. Kel Salem said the development project was restarted after gathering pitches through a request for proposals about 3 years ago. On December 10th, members of the Squamish Nation will decide whether to go ahead with a 50-50 profit-sharing partnership with Vancouver developer Ian Gillespie of Westbank Corp, who will build it. The project will cost $3 billion with a significant amount of money coming from federally backed loans, he said. Construction is to start in 2021 and finish by 2027, he said, with moving phased in over several years.
To help people try to cope and heal as best they can.
Giving love to one another, comforting each other as you see each other pass along the way. Just
don't trip over
just say hi. Just even a hug. A hug goes a very long way.
Initial.
And that's 680's Mark Douglas reporting in Brampton. 680 News Time 434. It is day 2 of testimony from Devontae Miller in Oshawa. An off-duty Toronto police officer and his brother are charged for allegedly beating him so badly he lost the sight in one eye. 680's Momin Qureshi is there.
The atmosphere in the courtroom today very different than it was yesterday when Miller laid out the moment-by-moment breakdown of the dramatic details that led to him being beaten and losing permanent vision in his left eye. Today,
he lost the eye
Michael Lacey a little bit more methodical in this process, trying to poke holes in the testimony being laid out by Miller about when he admitted to investigators that he was smoking marijuana, when he told them about the names of his friends that were with him that night, and exactly which items belonged to him.
Toronto Police Constable Michael Theriault and his brother Christian are charged with aggravated assault and obstruction of justice. Both have pleaded not guilty.
680 News Time 435. Following a snowy drive into work, it could be a messy drive home, depending on where you are. More snow is on the way. 680's Michelle Mackey joins us live on the Weather Watch. Michelle.
James, we saw more than 2 centimeters of snow this morning. Now, lake effect snow is moving into parts of the GTA. 680 meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai joins us live with the details. Natasha.
Oh, yeah. I'm just tweeting out that radar right now, so you can catch that on at 680 News Weather. We are looking at these on and off flurries, really targeting the north and east ends of the GTA so far. So it's going to be parts of the 410, the 404, over towards Markham, Richmond Hill, Scarborough, and Durham right now into some of this reduced visibility. Could see trace to 2 centimeters. And when we're talking such small amounts, it is slick conditions. That's enough to sort of just add that glaze onto roadways. So watch for ice conditions. This should all start coming to an end at 8 p.m. And we're not done yet, because tomorrow the same lake effect snow, thanks to these cold winds, will target the west end from Burlington to Toronto. Another couple of centimeters possible then. Michelle?
Now, if you think today's first measurable snow is a little too soon, you're kind of right. According to YYZ weather records, downtown Toronto's average first snowfall is November the 9th. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time 4:36. A 56-year-old tow truck driver from Oshawa is dead after he was struck by a vehicle while trying to help another motorist during this morning's snowy commute. OPP Sergeant Carrie Schmidt says the tow truck operator was trying to pull a stranded vehicle from a ditch around 8 this morning when another vehicle lost control and struck him on Highway 12 in Scugog.
We have our collision reconstruction team here right now, just going through the scene, trying to understand exactly what happened. The roads themselves were snow-covered, slushy, and icy at the time.
Schmidt says there were at least 40 crashes on Ontario highways this morning.
680 News Time 4:37. The Ministry of Education putting the Peel District School Board under the microscope. This comes following allegations of anti-black racism. Here's 680's Casey Taylor.
Really?
The Education Minister says allegations made against the Peel District School Board raise concerns related to anti-black racism. It comes after the board 2 years ago said it would conduct mandatory racism training for staff and hold a symposium for black student leaders. That came after a 2016 report suggested black male high school students in Peel experienced bias and racism at school on a regular basis. The board saying it reached out to the province last month asking for help. In a statement, Education Minister Stephen Lecce does not say what the review will look like, but once done, does say it will make recommendations on how the board can ensure it promotes equity, accountability, and transparency, also safeguarding the success and well-being of all students. I'm Casey Taylor.
680 News Time 4:37. A criminal investigation now open as Toronto police look to identify a man they believe may have started a fire last weekend that left 2 firefighters in hospital. The 3-alarm fire broke out at a townhome on Shooter just west of Jarvis around 2 Saturday morning. 2 firefighters fell from the crumbling roof while fighting the flames, one suffering broken bones, the other, Captain Jim Warren, suffering life-threatening injuries. Police have now released a composite sketch of a man seen leaving the building around the time the fire started. You can see that at 680news.com.
Who did you talk to that even saw that? How the fuck are you even telling us?
Meeting with his elected and defeated MPs on Parliament Hill today for an informal caucus meeting.
Liberals are celebrating, commiserating, and planning. Montreal MP Anthony Housefather tells me they know voters sent them a message by returning them to power with a minority government.
Canadians have made it clear they want parties to work together, and I'm excited to be part of that process.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says he'll be meeting with opposition leaders next week to discuss how to cooperate and when to call back the House of Commons. He's also focused on trying to find ways to give the West a voice after his party was shut out in Alberta and Saskatchewan.
A lot of work to do to make sure that we're governing for the entire country.
The government has to find a balance of tough action on climate change while also building the Trans Mountain Pipeline. Defeated MPs say they still have faith in the Prime Minister, and Trudeau says he plans on being the Liberal leader into the next election. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Coming up at 4:41, traffic and weather together on the ones, including more on a crash on the eastbound Gardner east of Jarvis. Only one lane is getting by.
680 News Time 4:39.
Hey, you're that famous actress. You must travel so much. What's the best site for hotel deals?
Hilton.com.
No. One with crazy savings.
Hilton.com. With their price match guarantee, if you find a better rate, they match it and take 25% off.
No, one with lots of options.
Hilton.com has 16 top hotel brands. Hampton, Hilton Garden Inn, Waldorf Astoria.
Hilton.com. You should totally do their commercial.
Expect better. Expect Hilton.
You're good.
I know, thank you.
Applicable terms and conditions at Hilton.com.
City streets traffic spotters reporting a collision northbound Oriole Parkway approaching Chaplin. Traffic is backed up onto northbound Avenue Road from north of DuPont. And in Brampton, a crash at Queen and Dixie is causing a heavy delay eastbound Queen from the 410. Now, the 680 News gas price update. Empro predicts the price of gas will drop 2 cents at midnight to $1.16.9 a liter at most GTA stations.
680 News Time 4:40.
Logistics.
It's more than point A to point B.
It's the client taking her product to market.
And the customer his favorite flavor.
At Radiant Canada, we believe in people-first logistics.
It's how we help you reach supply chains.
From road to rail, ocean shipping to warehousing.
Driven, delivered, and done by the people at Radiant Canada.
Learn more at radiantdelivers.ca.
That's radiantdelivers.ca.
This Movember, here's to the straggly mustaches.
Shooting at bar on Jane Street, no mention.
The itchy, patchy, raggedy ones. The pitch fuzz ones. The hey, I look good with this ones. The scruffy ones. The black, blonde, red, and gray ones. The ones grown by Dad. the ones growing for Dad. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives.
Dufferin and Lawrence shooting.
Grow will save a bro. Donate now at November.com.
680 News Time, 441.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Hankook Tires. Here's Jordan Kerr.
We have a couple of issues on the Toronto-bound QEW Gardner combination. So first of all, Toronto-bound QEW on the upside of the Burlington Skyway in the right lane. There's a stalled tractor-trailer. Crews are on scene. It's causing a jam-up from approaching Eastport. Then delays from Appleby to Burloak through 3rd line, east of Winston Churchill to Dixie. Then eastbound on the Gardner. East of Jarvis, the right lane's blocked because of a crash. It's in the long-term construction zone, so only the left lane's able to get by. Eastbound Gardner is busy from the 427 on and off to Park Lawn, then jam from the Humber Bridge to east of Jarvis heading into downtown. You're thinking about taking eastbound Lakeshore instead. Overall, it's pretty good until you get to Bathurst, and it's jammed into downtown as well, but looking a bit better than the eastbound Gardner. When you make it onto the DVP, northbound DVP is backed up from Baby Bloor to north of Lawrence, and north 404 delays approaching the 407 to north of 16th Avenue. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking. One problem each on the 401, one east and one westbound. The westbound 401 problem is west of the 410 in the express. We have the left and right lanes affected with a crash now. Everything was on the shoulders, but now they have a lane blocked on each side, so only a center lane is squeezing through here. West 401 backing up quickly from south of Pearson Airport in the express over to just west of the 410. Gets busy in the collectors as you approach the 410 as well. And then volume beyond that point, approaching your Ontario collectors to west of Mavis and Winston Churchill to west of Trafalgar.
That's
if you're traveling eastbound 401, the problem is on the range of Rock Road. It's the right lane blocked for the collision emergency crews are on scene. Through this stretch, you'll find delays at Liverpool Express and collectors to east of Fixon. Outside of that, just typical volume delays waiting you. Get $40 back on your next set of winter tires with Laufen Tires Winter Rebate. For details, go to laufen.ca. Your next report at 4:51, and with the forecast, here's meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, lake effect flurries here. So they're going right now, especially north and east sections of the city. The two heaviest pockets, one is on the 400 near Bradford. The other is from Markham over to Pickering. So again, over towards the east end here. Watch for that reduced visibility. This will start coming to an end closer to 8 p.m. tonight. And after that, mainly clear down to a low of -4, wind chill -9 in the morning. Some sun to start. And then tomorrow between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., same deal, lake effect flurries, but this time it's the west end that will be targeted, including the city of Toronto. 1 degree the high. Saturday morning, some wet snow. In fact, it looks like throughout the day we'll have periods of on and off snow, making for tricky travel. Gusty southwest winds, not a whole lot in the way of accumulation. A few centimeters, though, possible. 4 degrees the high. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -4. It is now 1 degree at Pearson.
680 News Time, 444.
Now the Scotia iTrade Market Minute live from the Business Center. Richard Southern.
Hey, Laura, a winner today. The TSX up 60 points. That's 16,805 now for Canada's main stock benchmark. The Dow up 182. It's a record finish, 27,674. S&P up 8.25%, and the NASDAQ up 23 at a historic high as well. Disney in with better than expected earnings. $1.07 per share on the bottom line. Canadian dollar up to 75.9 cents US. This is 680 News.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need for your renos for less.
My dream living room has natural oak hardwood floors, crown molding, a cozy reclining sofa, and a massage therapist who gives me unlimited foot rubs.
Well, just about everything. From Friday to Monday at Lowe's, get 20% off when you spend $299 or more. Plus, extra 10% off if you find a lower price. Conditions apply. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
The early bird prize deadline in the Princess Margaret Home Lottery is in 8 days. Don't miss our world-famous $1.3 million early bird prize. A spectacular cottage in Muskoka, built by Linwood, complete with dock and lakeside gazebo. All this could be yours, along with $50,000 cash. Don't wait. The early bird prize deadline is in 8 days. Tickets at PrincessMargaretLotto.com.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Mostly cloudy and +1. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Laura Carney.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what's making news right now.
Field police say a 52-year-old father has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the shocking death of his 2 sons in Brampton. Police were called to a home in the Sandalwood Parkway and Brisdale Drive Drive area around 11 last night. A 12 and 9-year-old boy were found dead in the home. And following a snowy drive into work, it could be a messy drive home. More snow on the way. Full details coming up at 4:51.
Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Alex Sixero.
And Laura John Tavares and Austin Matthews almost scored power play goals a few nights ago. Mike Babcock thinks the PP will get going soon.
It's like anything. Just we all got to breathe a little bit. I think our team's doing pretty good. I'm mistaken. So, we're 3-1-1 in our last 5. We seem to be getting some traction. The guys seem to be getting to know each other better, and there seems to be more juice in our group, which is positive.
And the Leafs get ready to host the Vegas Golden Knights tonight, 7 o'clock on the Fan, and Sportsnet Toronto placing both Martin Marincin and Nick Patan on waivers. Meanwhile, Toronto FC training today. Josie Altidore was away from the main group, did some sprint and ball work. MLS Cup final goes Sunday in Seattle. Mexico, Jamaica, and St. Kitts and Nevis were drawn in Canada's group for the CONCACAF Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament. Canada's qualified for each of the last 3 Olympics. And Derek Carr better watch out for Joey Bosa tonight. The Chargers defensive end has 5.5 sacks in his last 3 games. Chargers and Raiders kick off Week 10 at 8:20. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour, or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 4:47.
Hey, thanks for picking me up. No problem. Least I can do for our captain. So, you pumped for the season? Yeah, I got 4-wheel drive in this Escape. I kind of meant when we hit the ice. Yeah, so did I.
Make sure you're ready for the season in a Ford Escape. Right now, get 0% purchase financing for up to 72 months on all new 2019 Escape models. Plus, no extra charge winter tires, rims, and sensors. Get the SUV built to get you out there. Get your Escape today at your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
As an interior designer, I know that the more unique the space, the more creative, with endless possibilities and flexibility. Come see the showcase of creative ideas from top designers with a bonus $10,000 decorating allowance for buyers. Visit the Concord North York Presentation Center at 1001 Shepherd Avenue East this weekend to learn more.
680 News Time, 4:48.
There's new medical literature which indicates e-cigarettes likely pose a risk to heart health. Researchers from the Ohio State University reviewed the work and say e-cigarettes have been found to have varying amounts of nicotine, sometimes much higher amounts than traditional cigarettes. Some evidence suggests nicotine plays a role in the development of heart problems. The writers also noted the large number of metals found in e-cigarette vapor. Clinical studies have shown that e-cigarettes acutely raise heart rate and blood pressure, and chronic users were found to be nearly 2 times more likely to report that they had a heart attack. The review is published in Cardiovascular Research. A new study says young patients with the eating disorder anorexia nervosa may still be at a normal weight and be malnourished. Researchers at Stanford University followed 66 patients with anorexia nervosa and 50 patients with an atypical condition, same eating disorder but normal weight. The participants ranged in age from 12 to 24. The authors say weight history, the amount, speed, and duration of weight loss should all be taken into account when assessing patients with both conditions. The study is published in Pediatrics. 680 News Time, 4:49. Some researchers say they have found evidence that human beings began standing upright millions of years earlier than first thought.
Ever since Charles Darwin put forth the origin of species theory, people have been speculating about exactly when we humans, transformed from apes, began walking upright. Now, some 12-million-year-old fossilized remains found in southern Germany are raising the possibility that apes got up and walked on 2 feet about 6 million years earlier than previously thought. Scientists say this species appears to have been able to walk upright on the ground, but with opposable big toes that would also let it get around easier in trees. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and your extended forecast.
680 News Time, 4:50.
Julie? Hi, I'm Max.
Are you the pizza guy?
Me? No, I'm a professional dream coach. Say, how would your Friday night change if you won Friday's Lotto Max jackpot of an estimated $15 million?
I plan a little getaway.
Little?
Okay, a huge getaway. I'll travel the world learning dances like the samba.
Male critically injured in Dufferin and Lawrence shooting. One male is in life-threatening condition after gunfire rang out in the Yorkdale area. Police were called to the area of Dufferin Street and Lawrence Avenue around 10:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Around the same time, the victim took himself to hospital. No suspect information has been released. One dead, one injured after shooting at bar on Jane Street. I didn't read this one yet. What just happened? Come on, don't make this difficult. One person is dead and another is in hospital after a shooting at a bar on Jane Street overnight. Emergency crews were called to the scene near Lawrence Avenue West around 1:20 a.m. Thursday. Police said a man reportedly walked into a bar and started shooting. Quote, when we arrived on scene, along with ambulance, we did locate two people who had been shot. Inspector Jim Gotell explained. Gotell, what a fucking name. G-O-T-E-L-L, Gotell. You should be a police officer, man. What else could you possibly be? Gotell. Unfortunately, one of the people who had been shot was beyond medical care, that's one way to put it, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Police said the injured victim was trying to flee the restaurant after shots rang out but collapsed just outside the door and died. The second victim was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police said he is now in stable condition. Their identities will not be released until next of kin has been notified. There has been no word on what prompted the shooting or if it was targeted. According to police, witnesses saw a gray SUV leaving the area at the time of the shooting. Police have not yet released a description of the suspect. Gotell said several people left the bar before police arrived at the scene, and investigators would like to speak with them about what they saw. And the guy saw nothing. This picture is incredible. Surgical objects left in patients on the rise in Canada, data shows. More than 550 objects have been unintentionally, yeah, of course it's unintentional, you'll never admit to that, have been unintentionally left in Canadian medical and surgery patients between 2016 and 2018, and the problem appears to be getting worse. A new report released Thursday by the Canadian Institute for Health Information says 553 foreign items such as sponges and medical instruments were left behind over that 2-year period. That's a 14% increase between the most recent data collected 2017-2018 and statistics collected 5 years earlier. It's also more than 2 times the average rate of 12 reporting countries, including Sweden, the Netherlands, and Norway, which had the next highest rates. Wow. The information was examined as part of a broad look at how Canada's healthcare system compares to other member nations of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD. That's a horrible acronym. Tracy Johnson, CIHI's Director of Emerging Issues, said the data only notes how often the mistakes occurred, but not how or why. Quote, often they are smaller things and they may be things like clips or sponges, said Johnson, suggesting the reasons are likely complex and multifaceted. Some surgery... It sounds like a lot of excuses. Some surgeries are long and complicated, and if they have to change people during that surgery because some surgeries last a long time, and maybe that things get missed because of that, and maybe that they don't have protocols in place. Surgical checklists are one of the things that are utilized. I can't read all this. I just wanted to let you know what's happening. The rest of the fucking article's excuses.
Symposium Cafe, Restaurant, and Lounge. The holidays are here at the Symposium Restaurant in your neighborhood.
There's no reason or excuse. You're doing it on purpose.
Get-togethers. Every symposium is open till midnight, so you can celebrate the season. Visit symposiumcafe.com for locations and today's features.
6:30 news time, 4:56.
Time now for the business report. Here's Richard Southern.
Hey, Lord, Coca-Cola today announced its biggest new drink line in 10 years. And no, it's not another sugary pop. Those just aren't selling like they used to. Instead, Coke is coming out with a sugar-free, fizzy-flavored water line. This is where it's at right now.
What?
Coke calling this new line, Aha. It's going to come in 8 flavors, 2 of which will have 30 milligrams of caffeine. Flavored sparkling water is the biggest, fastest growing segment in the beverage business right now. It's expected to be a $12.8 billion a year business. And yeah, Coke wants it. Anthony Acoli at TD Bank.
We're seeing consumers more and more turn to healthier options and away from soda towards sparkling waters or seltzer. And, back in 2014, Coca-Cola did launch its Dansani brand, but it failed to catch on in a very crowded market. So they've relaunched the sparkling water brand.
And Coke looking to take some market share away here from PepsiCo's Bubbly and from La Croix. Markets bubbled on up today. Helping the mood was talk that China and the U.S. are set to do away with tariffs as they perhaps get set to sign a preliminary trade deal. The TSX continuing a bit of a win streak it's put together. It was up 60 points, 1/3%. Financial stocks higher. Sun Life gaining 32 cents to $60.98 on well-received earnings. And we had TELUS up more than 4% to $49.35 on a dividend hike from that particular company. Price of gold on the move lower, down $26 to $1,466. Oil closing about $57. Wall Street notching some more records. The Dow up 182, all-time high, above 27,670. S&P up 8, the NASDAQ up 23. Well, the House the Mouse built, reporting earnings after the bell, and Disney not disappointing. Fourth quarter earnings per share $1.07 on revenue of $19.1 billion. Much better than what was expected. Canadian dollar up 5/100ths to 75.91 cents US. Your top stories, everything the city's talking about, 60 seconds away on 680 News.
Hey, Mr. Man of his word, you said you would be at the job for 5 a.m., and you were on time, as always. Thanks to your friends at Mr. Transmission, Canada's only transmission and technology experts. They help keep that old truck on the road. And with Canada's best nationwide warranty, they don't just give you their word, they stand behind it. And there is nothing you like more. Thanks to your friends at Mr. Transmission.
Mr. Transmission.
There are lots of ways to treat your cold symptoms. You can carry around a spoon and syrup, or try alternative methods. How about those lozenges? Why not drop all that for a different way? Cold drops, just 1 drop with a naturally sourced ingredient for temporary symptom relief of cough, sore throat, and nasal congestion.
Relief with just 1 drop. Cold drops.
For a retailer near you, visit colddrops.com. This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Getting you where you need to go
Faster.
The most traffic in Toronto. 680 News.
Taking a look at some regional weather conditions in Hamilton, it's mostly cloudy and 2 degrees. Cambridge, mostly cloudy and 0. Some light snow and 1 in Burlington. Ajax, it is overcast and 0. Vaughan, mostly cloudy and +1. And right now downtown, mostly cloudy and 1 degree. This is CFTR 680 News. 680 News time is 5 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, bad weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are James Monroe and Laura Carney.
Good afternoon, it's Thursday, November 7th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
After 2 young boys were found dead in their home in Brampton, their father has been charged.
First-degree murder in relation to both of his sons.
The Ministry of Education puts the Peel District School Board under review as anti-black racism concerns persist.
If you thought this morning's commute was bad, tonight's commute will likely be worse. A snow squall set up over the GTA.
Full traffic and weather in seconds. And the Leafs turning to Frederik Andersen tonight when dropping the puck with the Vegas Golden Knights. And Devin Travis says thanks to Toronto. Sports at 15.
Could be a blow for the video gaming business as China announces a curfew on online gaming. TFX notches another winner. Business at 26.
680 News Time 501.
No games
Together all at once, brought to you by
on school nights.
We still have issues on the eastbound Gardner downtown. East of Jarvis, the right lane's blocked with a crash. It's in the middle of the construction zone, so only the left lane's able to get by right now. Eastbound Gardner is slow from the 427 to Parklaw, and then jammed approaching Parkside through to east of Jarvis as you go by this crash. Looking at alternates, everything else heading into downtown jammed up as well. Eastbound Lakeshore is very heavy from east of Jameson all the way through into downtown to well east of Reese. Very slow going. Once you're on the northbound DVP, it's a bit better than usual. Slow north of Bayview Bloor up to the 401. And then northbound 404 is slow from Steeles to Elgin Mills and again through Aurora Road. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking. We have problems on each side of the 401. A eastbound problem on the ramp to Brock Road. The right lane is blocked with a collision, so bunched up here east of White's Express Liverpool collectors to that ramp to Brock Road. Then slows again east of Brock Road to east of Thixon. On the westbound 401 problem west to the 410 in the Express. The right lane is blocked with a crash. Heavier than usual across the city and into Mississauga from Warden Express, 404 collectors beyond the 427 to west of Mavis without a significant breakthrough this stretch. Wake up your savings with our scary good rates. Visit alterna.ca to learn more. Your next report at 5:11, and with that all-important forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
Oh, yes. If you can, look safely to the north or east. You can see how dark the skies are, and that's where the lake effect flurries, heavy at times, are happening right now. So parts of the 400, north of King City under that, Markham, Pickering, Ajax, Scarborough, East Scarborough into that. Toronto westward, though, so far, not much happening, and I think that west end may steer clear from this tonight, but still trace to 2 centimeters on the way. Now, it tapers off around 8, 9 p.m. We're mainly clear tonight, down to a low of -4. Some sun tomorrow morning, but tomorrow afternoon, west end, don't feel left out. It's going to be your turn. 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. from Burlington to Toronto. More lake effect snow with a high of 1 degree. Tonight, we're down to a low of -4. It is currently 1 degree at Pearson.
680 News Time 5:03.
Neighborhood in Brampton can't believe the news. Peel police have charged the father of 2 boys found dead inside a home in the Sandalwood and Brisdale Drive area.
680's Mark Douglas joins us from outside the house on Hibbert and Creston with the latest.
First-degree murder charges for the deaths of 2 young boys in Brampton.
The 2 children were located in the house and that the father's under arrest.
And Constable Heather Camden says the father is 52-year-old Edwin Bastidas. She says when officers got to the house here at 5 Hibberton Crescent around 11 Wednesday night, the bodies of the boys were showing no signs of trauma, but then the coroner got a look.
When we attended, we didn't find any obvious signs of trauma to the children. It was a little bit later on that it was determined to be a suspicious death in both cases.
Neighbors identify the boys as 12-year-old Jonathan and 9-year-old Nicholas Bastidas. They were brothers and pretty normal kids by all accounts.
They play around the neighborhood. They're close to our family. Our kids. I'm just in shock.
In Brampton, I'm Mark Douglas. 680 News Time, 5:04. Turning to the roads. Well, we got the first snowy commute out of the way this morning, so the drive home tonight should be a breeze, right? Well, not so fast. More snow is possible. 680's Michelle Mackey joins us live with that. Michelle.
Yeah, James, snow squall warnings are in place from Barrie to London, and while the GTA isn't under any of these warnings, the evening commute is still being impacted by the snow squalls. 680 meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai joins us with the setup and timing. Natasha.
Yeah, so it's happening right now until about 8 p.m. And it's really going to be the north and east sections of the city for most of the trace to 2, possibly up to 3 centimeters before it tapers off this evening. And again, we're already seeing that right now. We've got to really watch parts of the 400, the 404, and eastern GTA for this. Once this tapers off, though, we should be good for the night. But tomorrow, some of those squalls off of Lake Huron, as the winds shift, they may shift some more lake effect snow. This time it's going to target the west end between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. tomorrow. Burlington to Toronto. So the west end, you're not quite in the clear. Your turn comes tomorrow, Michelle.
Thanks, Natasha. Now, more than 2 centimeters of snow was recorded this morning, making it Toronto Pearson's snowiest day since March 30th. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
A tragic example today of why you have to give emergency crews space on the roads. A 56-year-old tow truck driver from Oshawa is dead after being struck by a car. OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says it happened on Highway 12 in Scugog.
There's a curve in the road, a bit of elevation drop here as well. And as these vehicles were traveling northbound, lost control around 8 o'clock this morning. A few minutes later, the tows are on scene. And while they were out winching these vehicles out of the ditch, that third vehicle came in and struck the tow operator.
Schmidt says anytime you see flashing lights from a tow truck, a police car, an ambulance, or a fire truck, you are required by law to slow down and move over to an adjacent lane. And if there is not a lane to move into, be prepared to stop.
This portion of the news brought to you by Menkes in Oshawa. Day 2 of testimony from Devontae Miller saw the defense attempt to poke holes in his story. 680's Momin Qureshi joins us live from outside the courthouse. Momin.
Very different today, James, inside the Oshawa courtroom. Yesterday, Devontae Miller spent the whole day recounting what happened on the night that he was beaten so badly with the pipe that he lost vision in his left eye. Today, the defense had their turn to cross-examine Miller, and they really worked hard on trying to poke holes in his story. It wasn't any big dramatic moments. It was very slow. It was very methodical. Michael Lacey, the well-known defense lawyer, asking Miller about when he told authorities that he was using marijuana that night. Miller said he was very open about the fact that he was using marijuana. Asked about when he talked about who his friends were that were with him that night, about which items belonged to him. A pair of gloves were mentioned. Then comparing that to what he said in his interview with the SIU and his preliminary trial as well. The defense did not wrap up today. They were actually ramping up, it seems, to go for what they were trying to bring out in a big way. But they ran out of time today, so they will be back tomorrow morning to wrap up their time with Devontae Miller, and we will have to see what happens when that goes on. Reporting live in Oshawa, I'm Momin Qureshi.
680 News Time 5:07. Allegations of anti-black racism have now landed the Peel District School Board under provincial review. Here's 680's Casey Taylor.
The Peel District School Board says last month trustees asked the province to intervene and dig into what's causing racial tensions in its schools. A report released back in 2016 found black high school males in Peel said they experienced bias and racism almost daily at school. That prompting the board at the time to announce mandatory anti-racism training for all staff and a symposium for black student leaders. Despite that, the allegations persisted. Now the education minister has not said what this review will look like, but in a statement says it will look to promote equity, accountability, and transparency while also safeguarding the success and well-being of all students. It's also not clear yet when we can expect its recommendations to be made. I'm Casey Taylor.
And elected and defeated Liberal MPs have gathered on Parliament Hill today for an informal caucus meeting with the PM.
Liberals are feeling positive about the new minority parliament and say they know collaboration and cooperation will be the key to making it work. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says this is a time to reflect on the last few months.
Understanding what Canadians told us about the need to work hard every day and work together.
Who ties your shoes in the morning,
He's
motherfucker?
still working on finding ways to represent the West after being shut out in Alberta and Saskatchewan.
I've been reaching out to premiers, to mayors, to business leaders.
But the Prime Minister won't say when the new Parliament will begin sitting, only that the date will be a topic of discussion when he sits down for consultations with opposition leaders next week. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Coming up in 30 seconds, latest problems on the streets and big news at the pumps.
Latest problems on the streets.
This is 680 News.
You get shot, you don't even make the radio.
Here's to Toronto, to the early risers, to the commuters, to the go-getters.
Early every day.
Here's to the innovators, the trendsetters, and the people that believe. Here's to downtown, midtown, and uptown. Here's to those that work hard every day. Here's to the many that never accept second best. Menkes.
6th Street's collision northbound Oriole Parkway approaching Chaplin, causing a major backup onto northbound Avenue Road from north of DuPont and northbound Don Mills at Overley. Right lane blocked with stalled vehicles heavy from north of the DVP.
City Streets was brought to you by Don Valley North Toyota, the dealership that powers 680 News reporters. Check out their 50-vehicle showroom. Not a bad place to get lost. Don Valley North Toyota, Steeles, just east of the 404.
Now, 680 News gas price update and propane prices coming down 2 cents at midnight to about $1.16.9 a liter. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together.
680 News Time 5:10.
Tonight at 8, Detective Reggie Stronghold makes solving crime look as easy as switching to RBC.
Switching to RBC is the new easy. Switch by January 31st, and you can receive up to $1,100 in combined value. Other terms and conditions apply. Visit rbc.com/switching.
I didn't do that on purpose. Don't call that drug abuse.
The William Ashley Warehouse sale? It's finally here. I love the William Ashley Warehouse sale. 20 departments, 25,000 square feet. It's Toronto's most iconic warehouse sale. Come on, let's go.
You can't have this much fun shopping online. The 44th annual William Ashley Warehouse Sale returns with up to 90% off tableware, kitchenware, and home decor by all the famous brands you know and love from William Ashley. Sale on now. 111 Carnegie Road, Highway 400 in Langstaff.
Tonight at 8, Detective Reggie Stronghold makes solving crime look as easy as switching to RBC.
Switching to RBC is the new easy. Switch by January 31st, and you can receive up to $1,100 in combined value. Other terms and conditions apply. Visit rbc.com/switching bonus.
680 News, time 5:11.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Queens Smith MBA in Toronto. Here's Jordan.
Once again, they're setting up construction on the Toronto-bound QEW on the Burlington Skyway. The two left lanes are in the process of being closed down because of road work, and slow-going Toronto-bound on the QEW from the Burlington Skyway to North Shore because of earlier problems. It's going to start getting jammed up approaching the construction as they put that all in. Some good news, though, on the eastbound Gardner east of Jarvis, downtown problems have cleared. It's still very heavy on the east QEW, Walker's Line to east of 3rd, Winston Churchill to Dixie, 427 to Park Lawn, then jammed approaching Parkside to east of Jarvis. Again, the problems have cleared up, but no, there's long-term construction through there, so it's already very slow. And eastbound Lakeshore is jammed east of Jameson to Jarvis. We have problems northbound on Don Mills at Overlay. The right lane's blocked with a stalled vehicle. It's jammed up from north of the DVP. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking. Well, we have one problem on the East 401 that's cleared, and now a new one that's popped up. We're east of Liverpool and the Express. The left lane is affected with debris. A crash is sitting there on the shoulder as well. So most traffic choosing not even to use the left lane. They're jumping out of it because of the debris problem here. Eastbound 401 jammed through this area from Whites in the Express to east of Liverpool. Just beyond there, the problem on the ramp to Brock Road cleared. And you'll get a break once you get past this Liverpool issue. It slows again with a west knee to east of Thixon. Still issues on the westbound 401 west to the 410 Express. The right lane is blocked with a crash. Delays from Brimley to about the 404 in the Collectors and Victoria Park to that 404 ramp Collectors as well. That slows west to the 404 alternately Express and Collectors to west of Mavis, all the way beyond that 410 issue. You don't get a significant break through that stretch. Earn your MBA from Queens Smith School of Business right here in Toronto. Find out more at SmithMBA.
The same piece of paper everybody else has.
It's 521, and with the forecast meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
Yeah, that radar is looking pretty impressive now, especially for these lake effect flurries. They're getting heavier now to the north of us near King City, but also especially out through the east end. So Scarborough over to Pickering and especially Ajax, looking at some of the most intense snow right now and some reduced visibility. This is traced to 2 centimeters, ending by about 8-9 p.m. here at the latest. I think 9 is kind of late. And then overnight, we're going to be mainly clear down to low -4. Dress for wind chills near -9 in the morning. We'll have a sunny start to the day, partly cloudy in the afternoon with a high of 1. And then tomorrow after lunch, watch the west end, anywhere from Burlington to Toronto for more lake effect flurries. Tonight, we're down to a low of -4. It is now 1 degree at Pearson.
680 News, time 5:13.
Now, Scotia High Trade Market Minute at the Business Center. Here's Richard.
Hey, James, TSX looking good today, up 60 points, another 1/3% to the upside. The Dow notching another record finish, up 182 points to 27,674. NASDAQ up 23. Price of gold taking a hit, sliding more than $26 to $1,466. And the loonie at 75.9 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
Rexall can help you realize getting a flu shot is a really good idea. Any day now, I'm going to become a grandmother. So many toys to buy, outfits to pick out, photos to take. I can't get sick right now.
And I'm going to be a dad. So many firsts to look forward to. First smile, first step, first word.
And first dirty diaper.
Yeah, I really can't get sick right now.
You probably have a reason you can't get sick right now. Help protect yourself and your loved ones from the flu. Get your flu shot at Rexall. Visit Rexall.ca for details. The Toys R Us Toy Book is now in-store and online with over 2,000 toys on sale, up to 40% off. Get the hottest toys of the season on sale from LOL, Lego, Beyblade, Barbie, Fisher-Price, and more. This weekend only, save on our huge selection of Paw Patrol with all Paw Patrol toys on sale up to 25% off. Plus, get 25% off all Nerf Fortnite blasters and Pokemon trading card tins.
Shop in-store or online at toysrus.ca.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Cloudy skies in downtown Toronto, 1 degree at Pearson. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm James Monroe.
And I'm Laura Carney. Here are the top stories this hour.
Father of 2 young boys found dead in their home in Brampton last night, now charged in their deaths. Eddie Bastidas has been charged with 2 counts for first-degree murder in connection to the deaths of his sons, 9-year-old Nicholas and 12-year-old Jonathan. Cause of death not released. We're on the weather watch again tonight. Potential lake effect snow could make for a rough ride home. Full traffic and weather after sports.
Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590
James, the Maple Leafs are going to make one change tonight when hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. Dmytro Timashov back in the lineup as Nick Patan and Martin Marincin were waived today. Frederik Andersen and Malcolm Subban, your goaltenders, 7 o'clock, Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Watch it on Sportsnet. Well, OG Anunoby is averaging 34 minutes a night, which he says is helping a ton.
No, you're going to play. No, you're going to be out there. No, you can get enough north of cover there 4 shots. And knowing you'll get the ball back, playing with unselfish guys, knowing you're going to get the ball. So that helps out a lot, too.
And there was Anunoby on writer's block. Raptors in New Orleans tomorrow. Well, the Toronto Wolfpack are going to the home of the Super League to introduce their brand new star. Sonny Bill Williams will be unveiled next Thursday at the Emirates Stadium in London, England. Williams has officially signed a 2-year deal with Toronto. Week 10 in the NFL fires up tonight from the Coliseum. Chargers and Raiders go at 8:20. And the Odd in Kitchener is going to host Game 3 of the Canada-Russia series tonight, 7 p.m. on Sportsnet 1. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour, or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 5:17.
1-800-GOT-JUNK ads have happy music because we're happy to crawl through your attic and dig through your basement. We make junk disappear anytime, anywhere. All you have to do is point. We drive clean, shiny trucks and wear snappy, happy uniforms because we're proud of what we do. We're the original and world's largest full-service junk removal company. All you have to do is point. We work until midnight, 7 days a week. Just call us 90 minutes before you need us to be there. 1-800-GOT-JUNK. 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Some things just don't fit. Like a car that doesn't suit your lifestyle. That's why Toyota offers the fun-to-drive Corolla with available winter features like heated seats and heated side mirrors. Find the Toyota that's right for you. Lease the 2020 Corolla L for as low as $57 weekly at 2.99% APR for 52 months with $0 down. Or finance at 0.49% APR for 36 months. Visit your local Ontario Toyota dealer or getyourtoyota.ca. Some conditions apply.
680 News Time, 5:18.
Toronto Fire is updating condition one of its members who's still in hospital as police look for a suspected arsonist. Fire broke out at a townhouse in Shooter west of Jarvis around 2 last Saturday morning. 2 firefighters battling with flames fell from the crumbling roof. One suffered broken bones. The other, the captain, suffered life-threatening injuries. Toronto Fire says he remains in intensive care but is improving. The update comes as police release a composite sketch of a man seen leaving the building around the time the fire started. You can see it at 680news.com. An e-cigarette maker says it will halt sales of one of its best-selling products in the U.S. amid growing concerns surrounding vaping.
Juul Labs announcing it is curbing the sale of mint Juul pods in the U.S. The company's CEO announcing that due to recent studies showing flavored products are preferred and popular among minors who vape. It comes as the Trump administration, along with lawmakers, are considering banning flavored e-cigarettes. Some health advocates are questioning whether that ban will go far enough. Research published this week in JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association, shows the majority of adolescents who use e-cigarettes prefer mint, fruit, and menthol-flavored products.
What happened?
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
British police say they formally ID'd all 39 Vietnamese victims found dead in a container truck in southeastern England.
The authorities have been working with the Vietnamese police and the British coroner to identify the bodies and have now notified the victims' families in the apparent people smuggling tragedy. Assistant Chief Constable Tim Smith says it's an important step in the probe and enables police to work with the Vietnamese colleagues to support the families of those victims. DNA samples have been taken from families in Vietnam who suspected their missing relatives may have been on that truck. Charles de Ledesma, London.
Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together.
680 News Time, 5:20.
Get ready for the most most impressive a cappella performance to ever hit the stage at Niagara Falls View Casino. January 8th to 12th, experience amazing vocal sound.
I can see what time it is. I'll turn it back on after. Motherfuckers. Come on, tell me a dump truck and a garbage truck and a snowplow. Come on.
521.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, brought to you by Shoppers Drug Mart. Here's Jordan.
We have problems on the eastbound 401 east of Liverpool and the Express. Crash on the left shoulder, debris in the left lane. Lots of crews on scene causing quite the visual distraction. Eastbound 401 is slow going across the GTA from Winston Churchill to east of Mavis, from Dixie Collectors to the South 427 ramp, then backed up across Toronto from the 427 to Leslie, then approaching Warden to Kennedy and the Collectors, and then back up approaching White's Express to east of Liverpool, where we have the left lane affected with some debris. Crash on the shoulder. Police are there, but they're in the Collectors on the left shoulder for some reason. Luckily, there's no major delay in the Collectors. It's then slow eastbound 401 west of east of Dixon. Good news, westbound 401 west of the 410 Express. Problems are gone, but it's still backed up across the GTA, Victoria Park to Dixon, and then for the 427 Collectors, south of the Airport Express to west of Mavis, and out of Mississauga and into Milton. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking. Well, if you're traveling along routes out of downtown, the westbound Gardner is quite slow. DVP to west to Strawn and Parkside to Royal York. You'll also find it busy north Don Valley 404, approaching Don Mills to the 401 and Steeles to Elgin Mills. Construction, Toronto-bound QEW over the Burlington Skyway. 2 left lanes are blocked. It is starting to jam things up for traffic heading over the Skyway Toronto-bound. And I do want to mention an issue outside of our normal area in St. Catharines. Crash is just cleared on the 40 Erie-bound QEW approaching Glendale Avenue. Caused a major delay 40 Erie-bound. No lanes were blocked Toronto-bound, but it's quite slow through there as well because of the visual distraction that caused. It's time for your annual flu shot. To get yours, simply visit your nearest Shoppers Drug Mart. Protect yourself. Getting vaccinated is your best defense against the flu, subject to availability. Your next report at 5:31, and with the extended forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramza High.
Parts of Scarborough and Durham, and then also north along the 400 here. We're looking at some of this lake effect snow, much reduced visibility, a couple of centimeters max possible. It's like in that trace to 2 centimeter range, and then it'll taper off around 8-9 p.m. tonight. Mainly clear tonight, down to -4. Tomorrow morning is sunny. The afternoon partly cloudy with a high of 1. However, just after lunch, watching for another burst of lake effect flurries, this time out through the west end of the GTA. Saturday and Sunday, a little bit of a mess. On and off periods of snow, wet snow on Saturday, temperatures up to 4 degrees. And then Sunday, a little bit of wet snow in the morning. We'll have a little bit of a break through the middle of the day, and then watch for rain late in the afternoon as temperatures climb to 6 degrees. Tonight, we're down to a low of -4. It is now 1 degree at Pearson.
Coming up the bottom of the hour, horror in Brampton. The father of 2 young boys found dead in their home last night, now charged in their deaths. We'll go there straight ahead.
680 News, time 5:24.
Dad, why aren't we moving?
Because we slid off the road, Sam.
Why?
Because we didn't have the proper grip.
Why?
Because we didn't get winter tires.
Why?
Because I should have gone to Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac Certified Service for up to $200 off a new set of tires with my Scotiabank GM Visa card, plus a price match guarantee on all major tire brands.
Oh. I gotta go to the bathroom.
When you need to know,
We've got you covered.
breaking news, traffic, and weather.
This is 680 News. This portion of the news brought to you by CapitalDirect.ca. Shoppers and history buffs will be able to see the St. Lawrence Market's iconic South Building in a new light tonight, literally. A heritage project bringing new lighting to the building will be unveiled this evening. New exterior lights will highlight the building's unique architecture and entry points. Interior lighting has also been enhanced and updated to be more environmentally sustainable, efficient, and interchangeable for the holidays and events. And the event begins at 6:30, or about an hour from now. Police in New York Region asking drivers to be on the lookout for a stolen BMW. They say it looks
as if the owner of the black BMW X6 left it warming up in a Markham driveway when it was stolen around 11:30 this morning. If you see the plates, CHJD330, call York Police. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll take you through the latest market action with Richie.
680 News Time, 525.
Your home is more than just a place to live. It's your window of opportunity. With a home equity loan from Capital Direct, your home can provide valuable equities that will give you the freedom to complete those renovations, support your business, or simply get your debt in line. An easy call to 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL will open the doors to all the good things you thought were beyond your reach as a homeowner. So pick up the phone and call 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL today. CapitalDirect.ca.
Out for a drive, are you? That's bold. Have you seen how snowy I am? And how about my potholes? Yes, of course, there's ice. Black ice. And you can't even see it. And there's a tree down. But I won't tell you where.
Winter roads are evil. Be prepared. Get a set of 4 Hankook winter tires by December 31st and get up to $60 back. For details, go to HankookTire.com.
680 News Time, 526. Now the 680 Business Report, Richard Southern.
It's interesting news that could impact the booming video game market. China has announced a curfew on online gaming for kids. Under the new rules, gamers under the age of 18 will be banned from playing online games between 10 in the evening and 8 in the morning on weekdays. Outside of those times, minors can only play for 90 minutes. They can play up to 3 hours on weekends and holidays. Now, the guidelines also place restrictions on how much money kids can transfer to their online gaming accounts. Those aged 8 to 16 can only put in $29 per month. 16 to 18, only $57. Government officials in Beijing say the new rules are aimed at, quote, protecting the physical and mental health of minors. Addiction to video games was added to the World Health Organization's International Classification of Diseases last year. On the markets today, investors were getting the buy button on news that China and U.S. trade negotiations are coming along nicely. Anthony Acolia with TD Bank.
There's been reports that both countries have agreed to remove existing trade tariffs in stages. Of course, overnight we heard the ministry spokesperson for China's Commerce Ministry said both sides had agreed to cancel some of the existing tariffs. As well, they're also close to a phase 1 deal after constructive negotiations. We heard U.S. officials also say that both sides agreed to
how long till those kids find a way around that shit?
Driving the markets to record highs.
The Dow up 182, a record close at 27,674. S&P up 8, the NASDAQ up 23. The TSX gaining 60 points to 16,805. Energy stocks were higher as the price of oil rose 80 cents to $57.15 per barrel. Gold sliding to $1,466. Disney stock higher after hours on earnings beat. Canadian dollar at 75.9 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Richard Southern.
15.10 the other day.
It only takes one person to change the world. The Maclean's Power of One podcast brings you the gripping stories of 6 unsung heroes who made history, from the World War II double agent who saved D-Day to the greatest financial whistleblower of all time. This special 6-episode series, produced in partnership with Frequency Podcast Network, is brought to you by the latest season of Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, only on Amazon Prime Video. Subscribe to The Power of One for free at frequencypodcastnetwork.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Apollo.
Hey, Hercules, how's your day?
Tried to find a Minotaur for a parking spot.
That's rough. Hey, I heard Medusa from accounting turned another intern to stone.
Wow, she really needs a vacation. What's for lunch today?
Greek poutine.
Greek poutine? Is that a myth?
It's not a myth. Now you can enjoy Jimmy's Greek-style poutine topped off with your choice of gyro or chicken souvlaki. Available for a limited time. So when you're craving something great, you know what to say. Gimme Jimmy.
Smart people
with smart speakers
always listen to
Alexa, play 680 News.
Playing 680 News.
Vancouver clear skies, a high of 11. Calgary clear 7. Edmonton wet snow 3. Winnipeg chance of flurries -6. Ottawa periods of snow, high of 2. Montreal wet snow 3. Halifax clouds 10. St. John's clear 5. San Francisco partly cloudy 12. Los Angeles clear 17. Vegas clear and a high of 17. In downtown Toronto, clouds and 1 degree at Pearson. 680 News Time, 5:30.
#1 for
Toronto, this is 680 News.
Here are James Monroe and Laura Carney.
Good afternoon. This is Thursday, November 7th.
Here's what's making news right now.
Charges of first-degree murder have been laid after two young boys were found dead in their home in Brampton late last night. And the accused?
He is the father of both victims, yes.
Day two on the stand for Devontae Miller is spent with the defense trying to poke holes in his story about what happened the night he was allegedly beaten with a pipe by an off-duty Toronto police officer and his brother.
If you thought this morning's commute was bad, tonight's commute will likely be worse as lake effect snow sets up over the GTA.
Travis Dermott talks about his partner on the blue line. Leafs and Golden Knights drop the puck at 7. St. Louis Blues getting some bad news today. Sports at 45.
The mouse bill not disappointing. Disney in with earnings will break it down. TSX jumps 60 and Wall Street notches yet new records. Business at 50.
680 News Time, 5:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by your local Ontario Subaru dealers. Here's Jordan Kerr.
Well, problems on the eastbound 401 around Liverpool and the Express have cleared away, and the eastbound 401 very slow going, though. East 401 delays from Winston Churchill to Mavis, Dixie collectors to the South 427 ramp, and then from the 427 to Leslie, both Express and collectors, heavier in the Express. After that, it's slower in the collectors, approaching Wharton to Kennedy, very heavy in the collector lanes, and then delays through Durham, starting White's Express, Liverpool collectors on and off to Simcoe. Eastbound 409 jammed up, approaching Markham Grove to the 401 ramps. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking. Looks like a new crash on the southbound 404, just south of Steeles. Two left lanes affected with this collision, and we have tow trucks on the scene. A delay anywhere from just south of the 407 all the way down onto the DVP to south of Lawrence. And not sure what we did to deserve this, but the MTO has construction set up. Toronto-bound QEW over the Burlington Skyway. Two left lanes are blocked. They must be punishing us for something. It's heavy from Nikola Tesla over the Skyway. Adventure comes standard with Subaru, fully equipped to enjoy more this fall. Visit your local Ontario dealer for great rates on 2019 models. Your next report at 5:41, and with the forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
A couple of pockets of heavier lake effect snow here to the north and east of the GTA. This is going to start settling down within the next 1.5 to 2 hours or so. And then overnight tonight, we're going to be partly cloudy, temperatures down to -4. Some sun tomorrow morning. It's going to be partly cloudy in the afternoon, but flurries heavy at times returns between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., especially through the west end. Tomorrow's high 1 degree. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -4. It is currently 1 degree at Pearson.
680 News Time, 5:32.
An unfolding tragedy in Brampton. Peel police have arrested and charged a 52-year-old man with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of his sons.
680's Mark Douglas joins us from the scene on Hibbert and Crescent on the Sandalwood and Brisdale Drive area with the latest.
Charges have been laid, and Constable Heather Cannon reveals the disturbing nature of the person who's been accused.
The father, 52-year-old man, his name is Edwin Bastidas. He has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
12-year-old Jonathan and 9-year-old Nicholas Bastidas were found dead after police got a call around 11 Wednesday night for a medical emergency of some kind here at this house at 5 Hibbert and Crescent. This horrible act has left the neighborhood in shock, to say the least.
Shit.
This neighbor saw the boys only last week during trick-or-treating.
And they came by with the dog and we were talking, and I'm devastated. I don't even know how to react.
Cannon will not comment on how the boys died. Neither will she comment on a possible motive for the father to allegedly kill his own sons. In Brampton, I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Time, 5:34. Devontae Miller was back on the stand today at day 7 of the Terrio brothers trial.
We start calling him left eye or
joins
what?
us live from the Oshawa Courthouse with the latest moment.
Laura, very different type of day here in the courtroom. The courtroom was still packed with Devontae Miller on the stand for the second consecutive day, this time facing some big cross-examination from the defense lawyer, Michael Lacey. Lacey wasn't pulling any big dramatic moments. He was basically just trying to poke holes in Devontae Miller's story about what happened on the night that he was beaten with a pipe allegedly by an off-duty Toronto police officer and his brother, questioning him about when he admitted to the fact that he was using marijuana that night, when he told SIU about the names of his friends, and then comparing the story that he told today really to the statements that he gave in the preliminary trial and to the SIU when they launched their investigation. Now, it was clear Lacey was building towards something at the end of today, but time ran out, so he'll have to pick up where he left off tomorrow, where we could get some more details. Reporting live in Oshawa, I'm Owen Qureshi.
6 City News Time, 5:35, just hours after a messy and dangerous morning rush. Tonight has the potential to be just as challenging. Possibility of lake effect snow is literally hanging in the air. 6 City's Michelle Mackey's on the Weather Watch and joins us live. Michelle.
That was a weather
James,
show.
this morning
You have
we
to listen
saw
to
our
this
first
station on a
impactful
regular.
snowfall of the season during the morning drive. Now our first lake effect event of the season is slowing down the evening commute. 680 meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai is joining in live. Natasha, the timing of today's snow really couldn't be worse.
Yeah, of course, right? I mean, we had it during the morning commute and now through the drive home. But the drive home, it's really highly localized. And by that, we mean some areas of the city, like the West End, may see absolutely nothing at all. The lake effect snow mainly targeting north and eastern sections of the city. Now, as Michelle mentioned, most of the squalls, the heaviest snow, the 20 to 30 centimeters, will be back towards Georgian Bay and Lake Huron. But we may pick up a quick trace to a centimeter or two here over the next couple of hours, tapering off after 8 p.m. And that's just enough to make things very slick and icy out there. And tomorrow, West End, don't feel left out. From Burlington over to Toronto, you'll get your chance for lake effect snow and reduced visibility between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. tomorrow. Michelle?
Thanks, Natasha. So for those areas under the snowfall warnings, or snow squall warnings, I should say, Barrie to London, 20 to 30 centimeters of snow likely to be on the ground by tomorrow morning. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 5:36. The Ministry of Education is investigating the Peel District School Board following allegations of anti-Black racism. 680's Casey Taylor joins us with the details.
2 years ago, the Peel District School Board said it was taking steps to address anti-Black racism, including mandatory racism training for staff and a symposium for Black student leaders. That came after a 2016 report found Black male high school kids in Peel region reported experiencing bias or racism on a regular basis. But as those feelings continue to plague the board, it decided last month to reach out to the province for help. The Ministry of Education confirming today it has agreed to the review. In a statement, Education Minister Stephen Lecce says the review will look to promote equity, accountability, and transparency while safeguarding the success and well-being of all students. He does not, however, say what the review will look like or when we can expect to hear its recommendations. I'm Casey Taylor.
6 City News Time, 5:37. The fire marshal's office says a fire last weekend that saw 2 Toronto firefighters injured when they fell from a crumbling roof was arson. Flames broke out around 2 a.m. Saturday at a townhouse on Shooter, just west of Jarvis. The fall left one of the firefighters with broken bones, the other with life-threatening injuries. Police have released a composite sketch of the man seen leaving the building. See it at 680news.com.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has gathered with his elected and defeated MPs on Parliament Hill to examine the election campaign and chart a path forward for his new minority government.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says he and his team are reflecting on the message
How many
voters have sent
minorities
them,
are there?
and they want the government to work hard and work together with
Is it
other parties to address
majority
their
government?
concerns. But he won't say when he will recall the House of Commons.
I will be meeting with a range of all the opposition leaders next week, and that will be part of the conversations that we'll have.
Trudeau says dealing with the gap of representation in the West is a priority, and defeated Cabinet Minister Ralph Goodale, who's from Saskatchewan, says what matters most is presenting policies that address their anxieties and concerns.
Make sure that those issues are addressed in a conscientious way that builds Canadian unity.
And in case there was any doubt, Trudeau says he plans to be the Liberal leader into the next election. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Coming up at 5:41, traffic and weather together on the ones.
6 City News Time, 5:39.
If you have unfiled taxes, this message is for you. With the government running massive deficits, CRA is cracking down harder than ever before. It is only a matter of time until they find you. CRA can garnish your wages, empty your bank account, lien your house, or recommend criminal prosecution. If you made a mistake, it's not too late. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants now at Pound Tax. That's the pound sign, tax. Or visit markfeldstein.ca.
City Streets emergency crews on scene of a collision northbound Bayview, north of Pottery Road. Traffic is crawling from north of Bloor and eastbound Highway 7 at Woodbine. The right lane is closed for construction. It is jammed from Bayview.
City Streets was brought to you by Marquee Jewelers. Marquee Jewelers are closing their doors in 2020, but not just yet. Get deals on fine jewelry while supplies last. Don't miss out. 2 Bloor Street West at Yonge.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. Emperor predicts the price of gas will drop 2 cents at midnight to $1.16.9. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together, including a crash on the southbound 404 south of Steeles, blocking the HOV and 2 left lanes.
680 News Time, 540.
I have your coffee. What's wrong? I'm just stressed. I have to move 200 people to the first floor. Call by design. I have to find moving bins, install workstations, old furniture removal. Call by design. Find an IT team, storage, and hang pictures. Call by design. They do everything. Everything? Well, everything except getting your people to stop popping the bubble wrap.
By Design Commercial Moving Solutions. We move small offices to large warehouses and everything in between. When you look good, it's By Design. Contact us at ByDesignOfficeMovers.com. Imperial different carpet and home closeout collections and designs. Up to 80% off. Paid
You have a warehouse. You already
for your
moved
floor,
stuff.
from their rooms to your room. New merchandise every month at unbeatable prices. Shop the one and only Imperial Difference Carpet and Home, the largest wood manufacturer's gallery in the world. Make the trip to save thousands. One location only, 1177 Caledonia Road, west of Dufferin, north of Lawrence. Go to ImperialCarpetandHome.com. 680 News Time, 541.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones, brought to you by Viva Next. Here's Jordan Kerr.
Well, I've noticed ever since the time change, we keep getting crashes on the southbound 404 around Steeles. Another one southbound 404 south of Steeles. The HOV and 2 left lanes blocked all because of a collision. Crews are on scene. It's jammed southbound on the 404 from the 407 solid to just south of Steeles. A brief break and then it's slow again approaching Finch onto the Don Valley to south of Lawrence. That's also jammed up on the southbound DVP ramp to Bayview Bloor. That's because of an issue northbound on the Bayview extension approaching Nesbitt, a lane blocked to the crash. It's jammed up from Bloor or from the DVP ramp. Absolutely solid up through that stretch right now. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, that's slow going from approaching Don Mills up to the 401. Then northbound 404 is backed up approaching Finch, very slow to north of Elgin Mills, and then it's busy all the way up into Newmarket because of the snow. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking. A new problem on the eastbound Gardner at Spadina. The left lane is now blocked with a collision. Crews are there on scene. Heavy on the eastbound Gardner 427 over to Spadina. And if you're going to exit the Gardner and take the Lakeshore, heaviest section is from Ontario Place over to Spadina. Beyond that crash on the Gardner, it is busy once again from York to Cherry, heading into the long-term construction. If you're traveling along the 401, no problems now. Westbound 401 busy 412 to Salem, Brimley, alternately express and collectors to Dixon, and then south of Pearson Airport, express and collectors to west of Mavis. Also busy approaching Winston Churchill to Trafalgar. On East 401 delay east of Winston Churchill to Mavis. 427 alternately express and collectors to Kennedy. And then White's Express Liverpool collectors to Simcoe. Saturday, November 9th to Friday, November 15th, visit Shoppers Drug Mart for the 20 times the points cosmetic event, because more points equals more free stuff, and free feels good. Your next report at 5:51, and with the forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
Yeah, you know, with this temperature hovering right around 1 degree right now, this lake effect precipitation that we're seeing, especially to the north and east ends of the GTA, it is snow, but it is mixing in what's called graupel, and so that is sort of partially frozen raindrops. So you may hear some sort of icy bits hitting your windshield right now, and again, mainly to the north and east ends of the GTA. Tapering off in the next couple of hours, and then mainly clear tonight as we drop to -4, wind chill -9. Mainly sunny to start tomorrow morning, but lake effect flurries may re-enter the west end. So Burlington to Toronto tomorrow after lunch, 1 degree will be the high. Saturday, on and off periods of wet snow. We'll have gusty southwest winds. Temperatures up to 4 degrees, so not much in the way of accumulation. A lot of that will be melting on impact. Tonight, we're down to a low of -4. It is now 1 degree at Pearson.
680 News Time, 5:43.
Now, the Scotia iTrade Market Minute live from the Business Center. Richard Southern.
Another record-breaking performance for many of the main stock benchmarks in New York City, Laura. The Dow up 182 points. Never before seen finish at 27,674. S&P up 8, NASDAQ up 23. China-U.S. trade news was positive today. That helped out the stocks. TSX up 60, another $0.33%. Price of gold took a hit today. It was down just over $26 to $1,466 the ounce. Disney in with strong earnings. We're taking a closer look at that coming up with the business report at 56 past. Canadian dollar 75.9 cents US. This is 680 News.
I'm David Duke, co-owner of Bruce Chris Steakhouse in the GTA. I literally grew up
in the steakhouse business. Started washing dishes and have done every job in the restaurant. I learned from the very best, Miss Ruth Patel, the founder of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I called her Aunt Ruth, and I promise you, my friend, that our steak broiled at 1800 degrees and served sizzling is the best steak that you'll ever have. And don't forget, as Lana says, come hungry, darling.
Patience, Ontario. It's almost here. Friday, when the clock strikes noon, it begins. National Sports' biggest sale of the year. The Big 60. Huge savings on outerwear, footwear, sportswear, fanwear, hockey, almost everything. Shop in store or online at nationalsports.com. It's the sale you've been waiting for. The Big 60 at National Sports. New Friday.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Cloudy and 1 degree. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Laura Carney.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what's making news right now.
Peel police have charged the father of two brothers aged 12 and 9 found dead inside their home in the Sandalwood and Brisdale Drive area of Brampton. The 52-year-old has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. And more snow is on the way for this evening. Full details coming up at 5:51.
Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, brought to you by St. Andrews College, here's Alex Cicero.
And Laura, Travis Dermott and Justin Hall have been a really good defensive pairing for the Leafs so far. Dermott enjoying their time together.
Halsey and I have been buddies for a while now, so I think you don't even think about how tight you are. You don't even think about how I kind of not know what he's going to do, but you have a good feel of I've seen him go back for pucks a million times already, so I have a pretty good feel better in the forechecker than of what he's going to do.
And tonight, Sportsnet 590 The Fan and Sportsnet will have the Leafs and the Golden Knights at 7 o'clock. Earlier today, Nick Petan and Martin Marincin were placed on waivers. St. Louis Blues announcing Alex Steen has been diagnosed with a high ankle sprain, and he is out 4 weeks. Toronto FC en route to Seattle for Sunday's MLS Cup final. Josie Altidore did a little bit of work on his own today. He remains really questionable. Canadian women's soccer team learning who's in their group for the CONCACAF Olympic qualifying tournament. It'll be Mexico, Jamaica, and St. Kitts and Nevis. And it's the 4-5 Chargers at the 4-4 Oakland Raiders tonight in the NFL Thursday Nighter kickoff at 8:20. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour, or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 5:47.
As headmaster of St. Andrews College in Aurora, I'm often asked by parents why our school is right for their son.
The second you enter, you know you're a part of something truly amazing. There are tons of arts and extracurricular activities.
71 teams, 21 sports. There are so many opportunities to become a leader. 100% of our students are accepted to university.
The teachers sincerely care. They push you to do your best.
And I have Brothers for Life.
Experience for yourself what a St. Andrews College day or boarding program can offer your son. Join us for our open house on November 19th.
Details at sac.on.ca.
It's never been easier to buy Israel bonds. You can now buy Israel bonds online. Israel bonds are currently paying fixed rates as high as 3.65% with semi-annual interest income. Enhance, diversify, and grow your investment portfolio with Israel bonds. Israel bonds are sold in Canada by Canada Israel Securities Limited. Rates as high as 3.65% are available until November 15th. Conditions apply. Call 1-866-543-3351. To see all rates and buy Israel bonds online, start at israelbonds.ca.
680 News Time, 5:48. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control says more than 2,000 people have been diagnosed with vaping illnesses in a still unsolved outbreak.
Well, the exact cause has not been pinned down. The CDC reports 2,051 confirmed and probable cases of vaping illnesses. They have occurred in every state but Alaska, and 40 people have died during the outbreak that appears to have started in March. No single ingredient or vaping device has been linked to all the illnesses. Most who got sick said they vape products containing THC, the high-inducing ingredient in marijuana. Health officials continue to urge people to avoid vaping, especially products containing THC and purchased off the street. Shelley Adler, Washington.
A new study by the advocacy group GLAAD says
says TV is building on its record of inclusiveness. GLAAD says the percentage of LGBTQ major characters on broadcast networks reached an all-time high this season of just over 10%. That met the goal GLAAD had challenged networks to achieve by 2020. There were other notable shifts in representation, according to the report. For the first time, female LGBTQ characters on broadcast TV outnumbered their male counterparts. The study also found that the ethnic diversity of LGBTQ characters increased significantly on broadcast and cable, but there was a decrease on streaming. 680 News Time 5:49 at Queen's Park today. Representatives from all parties rose in the legislature to honor veterans. It is the last sitting day before Remembrance Day. On Monday, Premier Doug Ford had this message.
This is a debt that we can never repay, but we can begin to show our gratitude by paying tribute to these brave men and women who gave their lives in the call of duty.
Ford says Canadians and Ontarians throughout history have proven that their commitment to fundamental freedoms is unbreakable. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and your extended forecast. 680 News Time 5:50.
This is your Air Transat flight attendant reminding you nothing can replace family time. Even if my coffee mug at work has a picture of my kids on it, it's not the same. That picture's on my mouse pad too. No. What if that same picture is on my world's greatest mom keychain? What if you take advantage of our family time promo and save up to 40% on South packages? Go to Transat.com or call your Transat travel professional. Conditions apply. Transat. Vacation is calling.
You run a small business. You've got good people working for you. But the reality is you spend most of your time on paperwork, invoicing, and chasing payments. But it doesn't have to be that way. Meet Sage Accounting Software. Secure, safe, and trusted. You can take care of invoicing on the road, banking at the office, and cash flow from home. Work where you want, when you want. It's simple, efficient, and makes accounting a breeze, allowing business owners to do more of what they love. Get all the details at sage.com/smallbusiness.
680 News Time 5:51. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Viva Next. Here's Jordan Kerr.
A major issue is on the southbound 404 south of Steeles. The HOV and two left lanes are blocked with a crash. It's jammed solid approaching the 407. The Highway 7 ramps to southbound 404 are jammed up as well, causing major delays on Highway 7. And just to make it even worse, eastbound on Highway 7 at Woodbine, the right lane's closed for construction yet again. So eastbound 7 is just crawling from Bayview over to Woodbine. Just absolutely solid. A combination of that construction and the crash on the 404 that everyone's heading into. It's absolutely horrible. As you continue on the southbound 404, slow going from Finch onto the Don Valley Parkway to south of Lawrence, and then it's jammed approaching Don Mills to the Bayview Bloor ramp. That's because of an issue northbound on the Bayview extension. Approaching Nesbitt, we had lanes partially blocked out because of a crash. If you're there, could update us. It'd be appreciated. Or free call star 680 on your cell phone. It's jammed northbound on the Bayview extension, approaching the DVP and Bloor ramps up to approaching Nesbitt. Extremely slow. If you are not there, definitely don't take it. Northbound on the DVP itself is a lot lighter than usual because of a couple of issues that happened on the Gardner. Northbound DVP slow going Don Mills to the 401. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking. One of those issues is still going on the eastbound Gardner at Spadina. The left lane still blocked with a collision, so as you're trying to get into downtown, jammed 427 over to Spadina. And also, if you're heading towards the Gardner, Toronto bound or eastbound QEW, over the Burlington Skyway, two left lanes are blocked with early overnight construction that they set up around this time yesterday. So it is jammed Nikola Tesla over the Skyway to that construction zone. We've then got volume eastbound Walkers to east of 3rd, approaching south down to Dixie, then that heavy delay on the eastbound Gardner. If you're traveling along the East 401, no problems, but it is busy east of Winston Churchill to Mavis. 427 alternately Express and Collectors to on Markham Road now as you head into some snow, and then volume approaching Liverpool Express and Collectors to Stevenson. No problems on the West 401 and just typical volume as well. For everyone's safety when driving or walking near rapid transit construction, be alert, be safe, slow down. Safety is a shared responsibility. A reminder from Viva Next. Your next report at 6:01, and with the extended forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsey.
All right, we do have snow targeting the east end, but also mixing with ice pellets and what's called graupel to the north. So places like Vaughan and Markham reporting this. These are partially or fully frozen raindrops mixing in with the snow. So very icy conditions out there. And the heaviest pocket is just over Highway 7 right now, south of Richmond Hill.
A new word
so this is all going to start tapering off within the next hour and a half to 2 hours max, and then then overnight tonight we're down to a low -4. We've got some sun tomorrow morning, another round of lake effect flurries targeting the west end, Burlington to Toronto tomorrow after lunch, the high 1 degree. Saturday, the whole weekend is a little bit of a mess. We've got on and off snow on Saturday, gusty southwest winds. Some of it will be melting though as temperatures get up to 4 degrees. A rain snow mix Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then we'll be over to rain by Sunday afternoon as we climb to 6 degrees. Tonight we're down to a low of -4. It is currently 1 degree at Pearson.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Cold Drops. One drop for temporary relief of sore throat and nasal congestion.
Cold Drops.
Cold Drops are available at Metro pharmacies near you. This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Coming up at 6 o'clock, our Mark Douglas will join us from Brampton with the latest on the murder of 2 young brothers. A 9 and 12-year-old boy found dead in a home in the Sandalwood and Brisdale Drive area. Their father has now been charged with first-degree murder.
6 News Time, 5:54.
Julie? Hi, I'm Max.
Are you the pizza
The
guy?
whole hour,
No,
it's
I'm
gonna
a professional
fuck
dream
all about
coach.
the interesting
Say, how would your
shit.
Friday night
Motherfucker.
change if you won Friday's Lotto Max jackpot of an estimated $15 million?
I plan a little getaway.
Little?
Okay, a huge getaway. I'll travel the world, learning dances like the samba, the can-can, oh, even break dancing.
Yes, the world is your dance floor. Friday's Lotto Max jackpot is an estimated $15 million. Across Tuesdays and Fridays, you can dream to the max.
Making your smart speaker even smarter.
Hey Google, play 680 News.
Playing 680 News. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll check in with Richard Southern at the 680 Business Center.
6 News Time, 5:55.
You rushed from the leak, water came through, shorted out the furnace, the radiator too.
Sometimes life happens, and you need quick emergency money at a great rate to make it all go away.
If you need money in a hurry, borrowwithyourcar.com. Get money quick, just one click, borrowwithyourcar.com.
So when you need money fast, up to $30,000, you can apply online or call 416-634-2020. 634-2020.
Borrowwithyourcar.com.
The Maserati of Ontario and Oakville Fall Sales Event is on now. For a limited time, take advantage of incredible offers on new 2019 models, including a 0% finance rate and 1.95% lease rate on the Maserati Ghibli SQ4. Plus, as an added bonus, come in and take advantage of up to $25,000 savings on select 2018 in-stock models. Act fast before it's too late. Choose the road less ordinary by visiting Maserati of Ontario or Maserati of Oakville today. On approved credit, offer expires November 30th. See dealer for details.
6 News Time, 5:56.
Time now for the business report. Here's Richard Southern.
Hey, Laura, the house the mouse built didn't disappoint. Disney in with earnings after the close. It was a big top and bottom line beat. Helping matters in the 3-month period was strong results from its new Lion King movie and strong numbers out of its theme parks. Anthony Acolio, TD Bank.
Did not disappoint. They topped fourth quarter estimates. They reported adjusted earnings per share of $1.07, beating expectations by about 9 cents. They expected to 95 cents. The revenue was also slightly higher as well. And this comes 5 days before they launched their Disney Plus streaming platform as well. You know, Disney has some big studio releases coming up with Frozen 2 and Star Wars film hit theaters this week. So the stock was up about 3% in after-hours trading.
A strong jump for Disney on that. All right, meantime, U.S. President Donald Trump today admitted to personally misusing funds in his charity as part of a settlement in a civil lawsuit and has agreed to personally pay $2 million to a group of nonprofit organizations. He also agreed to restrictions on his involvement in other charity groups and admitted he and his foundation engaged in, quote, illegal political coordination with the Trump campaign during the 2016 election.
You get all the poor kids
On the market,
to go
gold
to
well today. The
you.
TSX jumping 60 points, up 1/3%. We had TELUS gaining more than 4% on a dividend hike. That stock to $49.25. Down day for Canopy Growth, sliding 1.9%, $25.13. The Dow up 182. That's a record finish for the blue chip benchmark at 27,674. On news that China and the United States are considering dropping trade tariffs. S&P up 8, NASDAQ gaining 23. Down goes the price of gold, $26, $1,466. Up goes the loonie to 75.9 cents U.S. The latest news just 60 seconds away, right here on 680 News.
The excitement keeps building in Pickering. Introducing Universal City Tower 3. I'm so excited! Stunning lake views. 3 minutes from Pickering Town Center.
It's going to be a no news tonight, I can see.
2 minutes from the 401. 1 minute from the GO train. Tower 3 from the mid-300s. Register today at universalcitycondos.ca. That's universalcitycondos.ca.
Questions about your plumbing? Call in Reliance Home Comfort. Kevin asks, why does my bathroom sink take so long to drain? Well, Kevin, in the bathroom, hair can be a common cause of simple clogs. However, it could be something more serious, like a problem with your main drain line caused by intruding roots. Whether you have an urgent need or an issue you've been putting off, call on Reliance Home Comfort for all your plumbing needs. We'll get there quickly and fix it right. So when you need help fast, come on, Reliance!
Taking a look at some regional weather conditions in Aurora, it is mostly cloudy and -1. In Markham, also mostly cloudy, -1. In Oshawa, overcast and 0. In Mississauga, mostly cloudy and 1 degree. Milton, it is cloudy and +1. And right now, downtown, overcast and 1 degree. This is CFTR 680 News. 680 News time is 6 o'clock.
That's not right.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
$132 based on work.
And Laura Carney.
Good evening. It is Thursday, November 7th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
After 2 young boys were found dead in their home in Brampton, their father has been charged.
First-degree murder in relation to both of his sons.
Devontae Miller spends another day on the stand being cross-examined by the defense, who tried to pick apart his story about the night he was allegedly beaten with a pipe by an off-duty Toronto police officer and his brother.
Snow squalls dropping 20 to 30 centimeters of snow in cottage country.
The tail end of some of these squalls here that will just tickle the GTA.
Toronto drivers not out of the woods tonight.
And on the roads, the northbound Bayview Extension blocked north of Pottery Road because of a collision. Full traffic and weather in seconds.
Maple Leafs have placed a pair on waivers. They will host the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. Devin Travis will hit free agency. Sports at 15.
TSX jump 60. Wall Street notches another record. And want to smell like the Biebs? Justin Bieber coming out with a deodorant business at 26.
680 News time, 6:01.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by King's Landing. Here's Jordan.
All major issues on the northbound Bayview Extension approaching Nesbitt. All lanes are currently blocked, all because of a crash. Thanks so much to the traffic spotters for giving us updates. We have a camera at Bayview and Pottery Road, and we can see traffic just not moving at all going northbound. In fact, someone's just out of their truck standing around, just how long they've been sitting here for. Northbound Bayview Extension jammed, approaching the DVP and Bloor ramps, all the way up to approaching Nesbitt, where all northbound lanes are blocked. Now, on the southbound 404 DVP combination, it's jammed from Highway 7 to south of Steeles, where the HOV and 2 left lanes are blocked with a crash. Then it's slow going approaching the 401 to south of Lawrence, and then jammed up southbound DVP south of Eglinton to the Bayview Bloor ramp. That's all because of the Bayview extension issue. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking. Still problems on the eastbound Gardner at Spadina. The left lane is blocked with a collision, so it is jammed from the 427 over to Spadina, then delays beyond that into the long-term construction zone, York over to Cherry. Westbound Gardner traveling out of downtown, busy DVP to west to Strawn, Hubbard Bridge to Royal York, and it's just a volume delay. Drop by the Concord North York Presentation Center at 1001 Shepherd Avenue East this weekend to view the King's Landing Designer Suite and for your chance to win a $500 West Elm gift card. Your next report at 6:11, and with the forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsey.
Okay, thank you to 680 News listener Talia. She just sent me a photo from Thornhill, just north of the 407, where we have this snow and grapple forming. So grapple, they kind of look like little balls of styrofoam. That's how you know what they are. It's not quite ice pellets, and it's not hail at all, but it is icy and slick out there, and all of this is starting to come to an end here over the next hour and a half to 2 hours. It is the north and east ends into some of that now. As we clear tonight, we're down to -4. A sunny start to Friday with some cloud in the afternoon and a high of 1 degree, but then after lunch, between 1 and 5 p.m., watching Burlington to Toronto for another round of lake effect flurries. Tonight, we're down to a low of -4. It is currently 1 degree at Pearson.
680 News time, 6:03.
The neighborhood is reeling tonight. The father of two young boys found dead in their home, now charged with first-degree murder.
680's Mark Douglas joins us from the scene on Hiverton Crescent in the Sandalwood and Brisdale Drive area with the latest.
Two young boys are dead. The accused is their father, and Peel Regional Police say the boys' deaths were intentional.
First-degree murder in relation to both of his sons.
52-year-old Edwin Bastidas is charged. Constable Heather Cannon says when officers arrived here at 5 Hiverton Crescent late Wednesday night, the bodies of the two boys were showing no obvious signs of trauma.
The coroner attended, and that's when it was determined that it was suspicious.
Cannon will not comment on how the boys died. Neighbors identify the boys as 12-year-old Jonathan and 9-year-old Nicholas Bastidas. Their deaths have come as nothing less than completely devastating news for this community.
We've seen them at Halloween. They're just everyday boys. They walk their dog through the neighborhood. My daughter plays with them.
In Brampton, I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Time 6:04. Another day of dramatic testimony from Devontae Miller in Oshawa. An off-duty Toronto police officer and his brother charged with allegedly beating him so badly he lost the sight in one eye. 680's Momin Qureshi is outside the courthouse and joins us live. Momin.
James, another day with a packed courtroom here, but I would say today's testimony was quite different than yesterday. Yesterday, Miller laid out beat by beat what happened the night that he was beaten with a pipe, allegedly by off-duty Toronto police officer Michael Theriault and his brother Christian. Today, the defense was cross-examining him, really trying to pick apart the details of that night, of what Miller had to say about who he was with, when he admitted to smoking marijuana that night, those types of details, and then comparing it to the answers that he gave either in the SIU investigation or in the preliminary hearing. At one point, Miller was even asked about a pair of gloves, a pair of black gloves that the defense lawyers said were used in car hopping. Devontae Miller denied they were his, but then the lawyers said the DNA matches that of Miller's. Clearly, at the end of the day, defense lawyer Michael Lacey was building up to something, but basically ran out of time. So Miller will be back on the stand when things resume at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Reporting live in Oshawa, I'm Momin Qureshi.
680 News Time 6:05. Following a snowy drive into work this morning, it's a bit of a messy night on the roads, especially north of the city right now. 680's Michelle Mackey joins us live on the Weather Watch. Michelle.
Laura, 2 centimeters of snow this morning made for some headaches during the commute.
There's a spin out. The traffic is just stopped dead.
Hi, another accident to report.
People are idiots in this weather.
Now, lake effect snow is impacting the evening drive. 680 meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai joins us live with the details. Natasha, how's it looking?
Yeah, it's looking not great if you're north and east of the downtown core. West end, you're like snow, what snow? Nothing's happening there. So it is very localized. If you're not into this precipitation, you are dry. And it's not just some lake effect snow here. It is also mixing with what is called gropples. This is when really super cold water droplets freeze on snowflakes. They look like tiny balls of styrofoam, and that's what we're seeing off to the north end of the GTA right now. And that also makes for very slick conditions. By 8 p.m., we should be in the clear here. And tomorrow, it is going to be the west end from Burlington to Toronto, also in for that lake effect snow. So another couple of days here to deal with of this wintry weather, Michelle.
Now, if you think today's first measurable snowfall is a little too soon, you're kind of right. According to YYZ Weather Records, downtown Toronto's average first snowfall is November the 9th. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time 607 Sports the News brought to you by Tridel. A tragic reminder why there's a long place to slow down and move over when you see flashing emergency lights. Tow truck operator killed this morning on Highway 12 in Scugog. Here's 680's Charlene Close.
OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt saw the aftermath of the crash that killed the 56-year-old tow truck driver from Oshawa.
There's a curve in the road, bit of an elevation drop here as well. And as these vehicles were traveling northbound, lost control around 8 o'clock this morning. A few minutes later, the tows are on scene. And while they were out winching these vehicles out of the ditch, that third vehicle came in and struck the tow operator.
Anytime you see flashing lights from any kind of emergency vehicle, whether it's a tow truck, a police cruiser, an ambulance, or a fire truck, you are required by law to slow down and move over a lane. If there isn't a lane to move into, be prepared to stop. I'm Charlene Close. Yonge Street may be about to get a major redesign. 680's Richard Southern is looking at the new design options the city's looking at.
The city has an online survey out asking your opinion on 3 different design options for Yonge Street. First design, though, is taking Yonge down to just 1 lane in each direction. This, the city says, would allow for space for seating and patios. The second design would make Yonge 1 way in certain stretches.
The extra space, the city said, would be used for deliveries, ride-hailing services, and an improved pedestrian experience. The third option for young, pedestrian only, no cars. This, the city said, would allow for a lot of patios, trees, extra space to walk. The city said it would maintain a TTC night bus under that scenario. So this is an online questionnaire right now. The city, though, planning a meeting on this on November 21st. Richard Southern, 680 News.
Coming up in 30 seconds, latest problems on the streets and some good news at the pumps.
680 News time, 6:09. This is 680 News.
The Well, Toronto's most exclusive new community, sets the stage for incredible experiences. A unique mix of shops, restaurants, fresh food markets, works